Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special live stream today with the team from Circle Innovation. Well, part of the team. So I'm joined here by Gord Jansen, who's a senior advisor in studio and calls Kelowna home.
That's right,
And
as of 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then we have hopefully Loki Jorgensen, who's the CTO and director, calling in as well. He'll be calling in from Victoria. We wanted to get started because wanted to make sure that we're cognizant of people's time, but Loki can join us right now. We'll have his picture there until we can bring him in and join us there. So I'm curious, actually, Gord, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the fact that I find that typically when these programs come out, I always find that we don't get them here. We don't hear about them here. I should probably say it's probably more fair. And I think it's great to see that your guys' team is bringing this program like this into the region, because I think it means a lot to have someone like yourself here as well. So speak a little bit about why that's important for you to kind of make sure that we're covering the Thompson Okanagan with these programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Circle's a good example of what you just said.
Right.
The organization started in 2016, and it's a nonprofit society with a mandate to help facilitate the growth of tech particularly, but
Right.
Small and medium enterprises in BC. Most of the energy has been in the Lower Mainland and then Vancouver Island.
Right.
But you're right. This has not been given, I don't think, the attention it's needed as a transplanted Kelowna. I've loved this place, by the way. I've been coming here since I was a kid, and it's got a special place. I'm chronic season pass holder at Big White and golfer at Harvest. So personally, I'm really excited to see us growing this. Growing the tech industry, growing business in the Kelowna area, in the Okanagan, Thompson area, and getting over some of the barriers. And that's what we'll talk about today is what gets in the way of companies going to that next level.
Next level.
How can we help?
And we were complaining off air that Big White needs some snow. So
yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm sure it'll come.
And then the program's been running. Obviously, these programs have been running for a while with Circle Innovation since 2016. What's been the uptake on the programs outside of the region and in the region?
Yeah, very strong. Circle has a very strong quantitative deliverable culture.
Right. Okay.
And Loki will come on and, by the way, I've just been with Circle a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
Loki's been here since the start. So he can give us a bit more background on that. But I can tell you that the numbers have been really strong. This is the mentality is, find barriers, break the barriers, and then have a multiplier effect on whatever it is we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So I think the program's been very successful. We've got a good track record in, again, not in this region, unfortunately, but elsewhere. Yeah, it's coming.
Awesome. So I know we want to keep this a tight schedule, so I'm going to hand over the mic, as they say, to you, Gord, and then we'll bring Loki in when he can. I know you have a presentation you want to go through, so I'll hand over the mic, and we'll see you sort of at the end and see if I'll monitor if there's any questions for anyone that's watching the live stream through any of the channels.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
No problem.
As Rob said, we'll go through a quick slide deck, leave a little bit of time at the end for questions if there are any. I would encourage you to hit us up on LinkedIn and ask for do a connect request. We'll love to stay in touch. I'd love to particularly stay in touch with everybody who's in this space in the region. A little bit, again, I'm not going to go through the details of our backgrounds, but just suffice to say that Loki and I have both had 30 plus years of experience in the tech industry as founders and executives in small companies. I've started 3 tech companies myself. And in the course of doing that, had a lot of occasion to go out to raise capital. The focus was, we'll talk about in a minute with Rise, is reducing barriers to raising capital. I remember we would go to Seattle or Sand Hill Road in San Francisco or Boston or wherever and do all the VC pitches. And I remember one time in Seattle asking, before we got into our pitch, how do you guys, asking the VCs, how do you see Canadian companies coming in as different from the American companies? Do you see any differences? And the answer was kind of not what I really wanted to hear. He said, American companies will come in and say, we're going to be the next, billion-dollar unicorn. We're going to take over the world. We're going to conquer everything. And the Canadian companies would come in and say, we're going to make a couple of $1 million and go skiing. Now, I don't think that goes to necessarily a cultural difference or some, deep personality characteristic of Canadian entrepreneurs, but I do think it speaks to the access to capital and other inhibitors that we have. If you look at the stats, about a quarter of Canadian startups get to $1 million in revenue. What do you think the number is in terms of getting to 10 million? 1 in 100. So there is a massive drop-off, and if you compare that to Israel or the U.S. or other places, it doesn't line up well. So it's that, breaking out from I've got a revenue model, I've got some things going for me, but I'm not huge. How do we make that leap and fill up all the tech office space in Kelowna? So that's the spirit of what we're going to talk about today. Next slide, please. We're going to talk primarily about, you can go to the next one, about a program called RISE. There's a second program, and RISE is, again, primarily focused on removing barriers to raising capital. There's a second program I'll touch on briefly, which is called FAST, which we're launching next year. That is particular to helping companies commercialize AI, not use AI for productivity purposes internally, but to actually create a product that has got an AI aspect and helping to commercialize that. So a little bit more about that one later. But for the most part, we're going to focus on RISE. So just a bit of background on Circle Innovation in general. As I said, has been operating since 2016, primarily in the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island. When I say innovation agency, what that means is when you hear politicians say we're going to plow X billion dollars into AI or X billion dollars into SME development, they need somebody to execute on that. They're not really good at operationalizing that spend. That's where we come in. So we're a nonprofit society with a mandate to operationalize government spend. The program we're talking about today, RISE, is funded partly by the Pacifican BizApp Fund. So just a little bit of background on Circle in general. Next slide, please. There are other programs. You can go to the Circle Innovation website and follow your nose from there. But again, today we're just going to talk about RISE and FAST. Next slide, please. And one more. So RISE has been in operation for a couple of years now. $5 million of acceleration funding to support the projects that come out of phase 1 and 2, and I'll talk about the phases of this in a minute, but to support the actual projects that come out of the initial assessment. That project might have to do with your go-to-market strategy, it might have to do with sales and marketing or product development or some other operational aspect, but it's, find that hole in your business that if it was filled would make you more fundable and more attractive terms. So that's the spirit of RISE. Next slide, please. And as you can see, as companies go through their different stages, this will be familiar to most of you on the line. You start off with we used to call it friends, family, and angel, or friends, family, and fools, initial seed investment. But then you get to a point where you've got some revenue. You're a startup with some traction, and you want to turn that into a real growth engine. So we're fitting in at that sort of latter accelerator, but primarily the innovation hub level, that third stage. How do you break through? Next slide, please. So the eligibility for the program, and by the way, if you Google Circle Innovation RISE, it'll take you straight to a page that has an apply button. And you can plug in there, but that's the entry point. It's a very light touch entry point. But let me talk first about who we're primarily aiming at the next level down here, and you can sort of self-qualify as to whether you think you're a good fit. You can see on the slide the sort of the guidelines. I would focus on the third and fourth line here. So there's some flexibility on these. But the critical thing is that you're already in market with some revenue generated, and you're looking for investment in the medium to short to medium term, 12 to 18 months. Everything else on this slide, important, desirable, but the critical ones are those two, that you're in market, you've got revenue, you're not necessarily profitable or cash flow positive, but you're in market with revenue and you're looking for seed capital or an AB VC round in the next 12 to 18 months. Next slide. So we're going to spend just a minute on this, and we're getting now down, out of the clouds and into the weeds on what this actually is. The stage, and we think of it in terms of 4 stages. I don't know, like most techies, we start at 0 instead of 1. So the intake stage is a very light touch, low effort piece of work that we ask you to do to give us some basic information that'll let us say, yep, you're a good candidate, or nope, maybe you qualify for another program, but this one probably isn't your fit. That's a very short piece of work, and as I said, Google Circle Innovation Rise. It'll take you straight to the apply button for that. One back, please. So the purpose of that stage is to filter out and decide who goes to stage 1. Stage 1 is a 45-minute session in front with a little bit of prep work in front of qualified investors, people that have experience in looking at firms. This is not a pitch, so you're not looking to get these people to invest. It's more of a consultative session where you're having an open and honest discussion about the challenges facing your business, how you perceive them, and getting from the investors how they might perceive them if they were an investor looking back at you, to arrive at a very succinct view as to if we solve this thing or these 2 things, we would be much more investable at a higher rate. We wouldn't have to give away 50% of our company. We'd be just a more fundable firm. And obviously that goes straight to just business development and the quality of your business. But the spirit of it is getting impartial, knowledgeable, experienced people with a baseline of information about your firm to be able to feed back and have an interaction that says, this is what's holding you back. If you can solve these things, you're going to be in better shape. And what would solving that look like? Which takes us then to stage 2. By the way, the output of stage 1 is a valuable document in and of itself, whether you end up doing anything further with us or not. By the way, again, we're not, we will be co-funding. We're not looking for money, so there's no money asked here at all on our part. But it's a valuable piece of consultative work with a report that you can then either use to apply for our stage 2, which I'll talk about in a minute, or go to somebody else. You may have some other program or means to address that gap that you think is the right way to do it. But I really think that the value, if you come away from today's discussion with anything, it's think in terms of the value of that stage 1 and the document and getting an impartial and educated set of opinions on what you need to do. If you do end up going to stage 2, this is a project that we would co-develop. We would contribute 30% of the funding to that project. We also have expertise in academia, UBC, Alberta, and also the supercompute facility at SFU. So there's other resources we can bring to bear on the project. But again, the project could be an application development project. It could be something to do with product improvement. It could be a go-to-market issue. It could be anything that's getting in the way. That's what comes out of stage 1. And then over the next 12 months, we try to keep this short because they need to be punchy. And again, we're talking about people thinking in terms of 12 to 18 months for a capital raise, to have deliverables that you could point to and say, okay, this changed the world, and now we're in a better place to raise money. Next slide, please. Just drilling down into the stage 1 a little bit. So the idea is and what's worked for us successfully in the Lower Mainland on the island is to have about 4 companies, might be 3, might be 5, but we would do this in Kelowna. Have investors selected. We've got a large pool of people we can draw on, but we want to tailor that to the companies that are the best fit. So what I would see here is over the next, between now and January, having hopefully lots of you go through the stage 0 process and apply, give us some information. We'll very quickly get back and say yes or no, and then go into this stage 1 preparatory stage and do that stage 1 45-minute review sometime in January or early February. So that's the timeline that we're looking at here. You can see the rough dates here, but again, this is we're not looking for the sort of 6-month due diligence process here. This is a very quick, give us material that's off the shelf that you have. If you're contemplating doing a raise, you probably have a data room already, and so this should be off the shelf stuff. And then the panel gets educated on your firm and goes into the meeting with some understanding and able to ask intelligent questions and work through the day. Next slide, please. This is just an example of an output, and the company name's redacted, but just basically saying, which of those areas under the attribute column, I think that says attribute. No, it says something else. I can't read it from here. Anyway, the area column, which of those would you assess and would the panel assess as being strong versus potentially the place where a project is needed, with a bit of verbiage behind it. Again, from Circle's point of view, the 4 firms that we pick, let's say it's 4 for the stage 1 in Kelowna. The 4 that we pick are going to be those that we deem to have the highest high growth potential, and that would be likely candidates for a co-funded project in stage 2. Next slide, please. The actual project uses a methodology called SWOT, which has been delivered before. There's a slide on it later, but I think in the interest of time, we'll skip over that. But it's a proven process that Pacific Canada in particular has had experience with in terms of creating solid deliverables quickly that are going to reduce some barrier and solve some problem. Let's keep going. Next slide, please. So that's it for, and we can skip this one as well. So that's it for RISE. Again, if you have any questions that before you apply, perhaps you want to ask, please ping me. You can get me on LinkedIn or Loki. I guess we can also in the notes to this. So this will be posted on LinkedIn and everywhere else. We'll put our contact info. So feel free to do that, or just go straight to the website and apply. That would be fantastic. So now we're just going to switch gears very quickly for a minute or two and talk about FAST. And this is a program that we'll be launching next year. Next slide, please. One more, please. Yeah, there we go. So, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that AI is going to take over the world, but AI adoption is not yet proven. This reminds me a lot of 1999, and I won't get into commentary on what you should do with your stock portfolio, but there is this aspect of promise versus delivery, and right now, and this is particularly true for SMEs in Canada, the delivery isn't there, and in fact, the plan for delivery isn't necessarily there. So we are behind in some ways the rest of the planet, particularly the US, in terms of the adoption of AI for internal purposes, but I think more importantly, the adoption of AI as part of a commercialized product. I was down in San Francisco a while ago. I mean, these companies are popping up like mushrooms, and everybody has an agentic AI story that's going to either work at a process level or a workflow level, discrete process level or a workflow level to radically change the way people can run their businesses. We're not seeing enough of that, I don't think, in Canada yet. But obviously, there's a lot of energy and money behind it now. So part of what we want to do with FAST in BC, and particularly in the Okanagan-Thompson region, is to help companies that have a product that is or could benefit from some AI deployment to make it more marketable at a higher price, and so forth. Next slide, please. This is just a quick rundown. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through it, but you will have seen this sort of reporting before. By the way, BDC, Business Development Corp, has done some good research on this. If you want to hit their website, you can see some of the nuts and bolts behind it. Next slide, please. So what we will be looking at here, as I said, is commercialization, productization and commercialization. The what can we bring to the table? We've got, similar to RISE, we've got access to the academics in BC, the academic community in BC and beyond. We have funding for co-funding of projects, and we have some IT assets that can be brought to bear. So there's, for the right firms with the right potential, this could be a great opportunity. So stay tuned on that for early next year. So we're down to the last few minutes. I'm going to stop there. And Rob, if you want to have any closing comments, or I don't know if there are any questions, but.
Yeah, thank you, Gord. That was really good. So for people that are watching, I see there's a bunch joined all different channels. So I put in links for people to connect with you on your LinkedIn.
Great.
And I put links to, if they have more information, to go to the website and how they apply. So I've dropped them into the comments. There's been no questions per se yet, but I am monitoring. So if anyone has any questions, please, you can jump on and I'm happy to grab them. But I had a couple questions that came out of it. Is how far reaching, like we're covering all the Thompson Okanagan and into the Kootenays as well. Like how far reaching can people apply for?
Yeah, that's a good question, Rob. Everything south of Cache Creek,
okay,
and north of Abbotsford.
Oh wow, okay, so we cover a big area.
Yeah, it's a large area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what if we had...
Sorry, maybe Chilliwack.
Yeah.
Okay. There is another, just within Circle, we have another territory, if you like.
Yeah.
There's Lower Mainland, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and not that you can't apply from there, but we're doing a call out to businesses in the Thompson Okanagan region, Kootenay, sort of that region right now, and what we're trying to reach out to specifically today. Not that we're going to turn down any money else in the Mark province.
That's right.
Yeah. What if we had 15 grade applications? What happens?
I'd love to have that situation, and I think we might. I mean, I've only been here a couple of years, but I've seen some really interesting firms and some vibrancy in the tech community here.
Right.
So if we have that challenge, a couple of things. One is these programs will run continuously with multiple intake cycles. Yeah. So just because you're not taken in the first go around, there will be others on a regular basis, roughly quarterly basis. The other thing is we have contacts with the other organizations that are doing, adjacent work, I'll say, not necessarily similar. Yeah. So I think, after neither Loki or I are 18 years old, so we have some networking that we can do to help bring it forward. I'd love to have those conversations, even if the firm doesn't end up working with us. Okay. And then the last question I had is, we've talked about this before, and I think you kind of briefly mentioned, like, we're not looking necessarily just for companies that are just AI focused, right? Like, I mean, I want to say the word preference, but that's not even the right word, but we're looking for companies that, they don't have to be just AI, but it could. It could, but FAST is particular to AI. RISE absolutely is not. RISE is anybody. Okay, and one leads into the other, which is nice. Potentially. If the gating project is an AI project, then FAST might be your next step. Yeah. Excellent. So I want to leave everyone that's listening. I know we're pretty much at time, so that
people can go back and watch the recording on all the channels that you would have tuned in from as well. And like I said, I put links in all the comments as well. So, but if you have questions, the best thing to do is go to circleinnovation.ca. All the information's there. You can look at the programs. It's great. You just click on programs and training. I'm on the site now, and it brings you up to all the programs you guys have, including Rise and so forth as well. So it's easy for you guys. Or you can connect with Gord online on LinkedIn. I put his LinkedIn information into the chat as well. And when we repost this, we'll put that information. Unfortunately, Loki wasn't able to join us today. I know he was tight schedule, but if there's questions, you can always connect with Loki as well online. He's very active on LinkedIn as well, and he'll get back to you right away. And if there's more questions in a couple weeks, we're happy to jump on another live stream and answer questions as well, so we can get Loki and Gord back on to answer any questions. I just encourage businesses that, we're looking for Thompson Okanagan to really take advantage of this. So please do jump in, reach out if there's any questions. If we haven't answered some of the questions, you're like, I'm still not sure if I should apply, just reach out. Like, Gord and Loki are both accessible pretty easy, or you can always connect with me on LinkedIn and I'll connect you to the right team. So, Gord, thank you for coming in today. I know we've been talking this for a couple months to get this together. Right. So I'm excited. Please do inundate with applications. We want really good applications, and look forward to seeing who we can work with in this region. So.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining. No problem.
Everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Please reach out with any questions. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.